Welcome, friends. This is Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric, and today we're going to take a look at Mizzou's loss to the Texas A&M Aggies. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook and Instagram. So here we are, another SEC blowout loss for Missouri. This time, the hands of the 21st ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Final score 35-14, and let's be honest, the game was not that close. It was an absolute blowout. It was effectively over within the first 10 minutes. The defense, well, what can you say? It was exactly what you would expect. Texas A&M did not do a whole lot throwing the football. Zach Calzada was 13 out of 25 for a $148, 2 touchdowns and a pick. You normally would take that all day against an SEC opponent, but that assumes you're not going to give up 283 rushing yards. That A&M as a team averaged 6.7 yards a carry for the entire game. You know it's going to happen at this point, but it's still so frustrating to see. Honestly, I'm not going to spend that much time talking about the defense because they're just doing their terrible things. A lot of just bad play. That's really all there is to it on this one. Just not playing well. And, we'll talk about scheme and all that sort of stuff in a little bit. But on this day, the Missouri offense was just about as bad as the defense. The one exception being Tyler Beatty, who found a way to look good as he always does. The big story offensively for me was Connor Bazelak. He was 29 out of 43, which is a pretty solid completion percentage, but you'd expect that when so many of his throws are 5-7 yards down the field and not really any high-risk type throws for the most part. The 2 interceptions, not good. And offensive line, not good. Wide receivers. Towski Dove made a couple plays once the game was well in hand for the Aggies, which I guess is better than nothing, but still, you'd like to see some of those plays earlier in the game. The biggest takeaway for me in this game is all between the ears. You look at Missouri. 2 turnovers compared to the Aggies 1. 13 penalties for 106 yards. That's garbage. That is horrible. And it's not like they were all of them were effort type plays. There was a block in the back that was just stupid on a punt return that pinned Missouri deep inside the 5. On Jalen Carlisle's interception, there was a block in the back that negated a return and perhaps influenced Coach Drink's decision to not be more aggressive going into halftime. And, you look at Mizzou early in the game, going through a bunch of dummy cadences, trying to draw A&M offside, see if they can get a first down the cheap way, and the left tackle Javon Foster jumps. That's just in between the ears and lack of focus, and that's the biggest takeaway. This team did not look ready to play a football game, and they did not look like they were ready or interested in dealing with any sort of adversity. That became evident as soon as Connor Bazelak threw that first interception, and the entire attitude of the entire stadium turned into, oh boy, here we go again. You could feel it just watching the TV broadcast. So that is a lack of resiliency, a lack of heart, and a lack of pride. And that is on the coaching staff. There's no reason for a team to not go out there and compete and represent themselves, their state, university, all that. By at least giving their all. That is the biggest problem right now. with Missouri. As soon as something starts to go wrong, it snowballs in a hurry. And that looked like a team that showed up on Saturday, walking out there expecting to get blown out. And when you walk out to play a game expecting to get blown out, that's exactly what's going to happen 90% of the time. And that's something Coach Drink needs to get fixed now. I mean, and that's not even to save this season. This season's lost. Make no mistake. But that is something that if Coach Drink does not fix that, that will nuke his entire effort to build this program, and it will lead to him being fired in 2 or 3 years. As for Coach Drink's decision to not be more aggressive at the end of the first half, in the post-game press conference, he talked about how he wanted to be careful because he didn't want to give A&M the ball with a chance to go up 35-7 at half with them getting the ball to start the second half. And that tells me 2 things. The first, Coach Drink does not have confidence in his offense at all. That's a problem. When the coach does not have the confidence that you can at least be effective in a 2-minute drill, that's bad. And it's not like Missouri needed to get to the 20-yard line. You got Harrison Mevis back there waiting who can drill a 50-55-yarder. If Missouri would have gotten to the 35-yard line, they'd have been fine. And they would have at least tried a field goal. With a minute and a half at timeouts, to me, I don't care. You're down 28-7 in a game that is already not competitive, in a season that's already pretty much lost. In that scenario, that's cowardice. I don't care about Coach Drink's explanation, even though it kind of makes sense. I still think that's cowardice, and I just can't disagree with that decision enough. And I thought the boos were justified. As for the program going forward, looking at the defense, Steve Wilks, I can't see a scenario where he's back for a year 2. If he's going to get fired in the season before it ends, it's going to happen this week, in the next couple of days. I'm filming this on Sunday. I'd say by Tuesday, if he's not fired, I expect Steve Wilks to coach the rest of the season. And I don't see a big difference one way or the other. Because unless Drink plans on promoting from within, it's going to be a new guy and new terminology and things of that nature either way. So it's not going to make a difference. It just isn't. It might be something that makes the fans feel better, like, you're the reason that we're terrible, now you're gone. Well, if Mizzou fires Steve Wilks, it's not all of a sudden going to turn this into an elite defense that can allow the team to hang with Georgia and Florida. Come on, that's not happening. It's not. But either way, Steve Wilks, I don't think there's any scenario where he's back after this season. But yeah, that's where we're at now. We're talking about big picture stuff the rest of the way, meaning getting young guys more playing time. In particular, quarterbacks. That's one thing that blew my mind, was late in this game, there was no reason for Bazelak to be out there. He was not playing well. The game was out of hand, and you've got quarterbacks with zero meaningful experience. Get him out there, see what happens. It's not going to go any worse than the way the game was already going. And what happens if Bazelak gets more hurt than he is? And I say that because I'm convinced he is hurt. He is absolutely zero threat to run the football. And he is an absolute statue in the pocket. I see no reason for Brady Cook or even Tyler Macon to get some experience. But if it's not going to happen in this game, it's not going to happen unless the score is even more out of hand or Bazelak finally gets hurt. So don't hold your breath on that one. But yeah, as I was saying before I went on my mini quarterback rant, Getting young guys experience. At this point, Missouri needs to be playing Mekhi Wingo all the time. Dominic Lovett, Mookie Cooper, when healthy, needs to be playing all the time. Let these young guys get the experience so they can become a real foundation for this program going forward into 2022 and beyond. That's where we're at. These last 5 games aren't going to mean a whole lot, except looking to the future. But yeah, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for checking out this Under the Arch Sports video. Hope to see you guys next time.